the actors don't want AI to be introduced because they don't want to become another Joan from Joan is Awful. I think this Black Mirror episode is low-key a masterpiece. What up guys, it's Ahana. Welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be talking about AI fears, WGA strike, and the Black Mirror episode Joan is Awful. There is a link between all of those things. Obviously, that is why we're going to be talking about it today. So as you guys may know, the WGA and the SAG, so the Writers Guild of America and the Screen Actors Guild, are striking so they can demand a secure, larger share of streaming revenue. They want greater protections against the use of artificial intelligence because they've noticed it's being slowly introduced into their industry, and they want to be assured that they are going to be protected. They also want their pay rate to increase because inflation.
I can't eat. I'm broke.
I don't even know. A drink has gone from $1 to $5. Still being paid the same as you were 15 years ago as to now makes no sense with what's going on. It makes sense that their pay should be aligned with the increase of inflation. All of these things that they want, all of their, their bullet points basically is, reasonable. But that is what they are demanding. That is why they're striking. I just wanted to touch on this because our jobs aren't as guaranteed as we wish they were. And AI is just another example of how they aren't guaranteed. And it being introduced in the world of creativity is of course scaring creative people, because already that films are flopping left and right recently. Besides Barbenheimer and Into This Across the Spider-Verse, besides those three, there hasn't been many good movies. And even the ones that are meant to be good are just sequels, prequels, whatever, of something else. And they're just not enough for people to care about. And movies, going to the theaters is becoming unreasonably expensive, especially with inflation. People are already thinking that movies are becoming less creative, and now you want to introduce artificial intelligence into the writing process of movies. I mean, it already is part of creating the movies, which is fine. We love CGI. I mean, it's great. But we don't want AI to disrupt the creativeness of films and the writing and the producing. It's trying to slither in there, and the writers want to be protected. The thing is, you might think to yourself, wow, they would never use AI to replace
bombastic side-eye, criminal offense.
They do not care. This do not care.
I'm here to tell you right now, we don't care.
Let me tell you something.
If it maximizes efficiency and improves profit, why would they not go with it? That's why the writers are striking, because they know they're willing to introduce it. And want to know why it could be possible if they didn't try to fight against it, is because audiences honestly do not care about AI. And this might be an unpopular opinion. I've mentioned it in my Ice Cube video where I touched a lot on AI. Let me explain. Basically, audiences at the end of the day desire to be entertained. That is what they want, is entertainment. And if an AI can entertain them, they would honestly take it. If it can entertain them and not be some redone, regurgitated thing, they would be able to be entertained. And maybe they wouldn't go to the theaters for it, especially if it's not gonna be as creative as a Christopher Nolan movie, but they would be able to sit on their chair and watch it on their streaming service. And this doesn't go for all audiences, because of course there are people who care about things that aren't always seen, that are different, that are extremely creative, and takes a human brain to make it. There are people who enjoy that, but there are people who are willing to, if there are people willing to watch Fast and Furious for the 10th time, there are definitely people who are okay with watching a movie entirely AI generated as long as it is entertaining. And that worries writers and actors, and that is why they are striking. The actors don't want AI to be introduced because they don't want to become another Joan from Joan is Awful, which I wanted to touch on because I think this Black Mirror episode is low-key a masterpiece. To summarize, but Joan is Awful is basically about a woman named Joan who finds out she is being secretly recorded, and all of the things she's doing is being displayed on this Netflix bootleg called Streamberry. And of course she tries to make it stop, and then we end up finding out, okay, this is actually confusing to explain. It's basically a multiverse of AIs. Okay, just imagine a multiverse of AIs. Just imagine the idea of when you set up a mirror in front of another mirror and there's just a continuous amount of mirrors. That's basically what's happening in Joan is Awful, where there's a continuous amount of Joannes. They didn't realize that when they signed up for the Streamberry, aka the Netflix of the show. They didn't realize that when they accepted the terms and conditions, they actually accepted that their rights, their image rights, may be used in a show of AIs, and that they can't be sued in any way whatsoever. It's literally a paradox that Netflix has a Black Mirror episode on their streaming platform about a bootleg Netflix called Streamberry screwing over writers and actors through AI, while they are experiencing a strike with WJ and SAG, who are accusing them of not paying them well enough, not paying them based on the streaming rights, not giving enough protection against AI, etc. It's so paradoxical in my opinion. And I really think it visualizes what could happen. Now, is it a slight exaggeration? Maybe, but it is giving a hint of what could happen to the world of creativity if creatives such as writers, such as actors, such as performers, musicians, artists do not fight against AI being in their workplace. As Charlie Brooker mentions in one of his interviews, can AI be used in a good way? Of course. Of course, I love ChatGPT. He's great. Photoshop is an AI, Canva is an AI, they are useful. Premiere Pro and After Effects and every video editing software, whatever. All of these things that we are using to improve our creativity are in some form AIs, and they are very useful, and they can improve our creativity without hindering it or without replacing us. That is possible. So I'm not saying AI is completely bad. I'm just saying bad people are trying to use it in a way that will harm others but benefit themselves. If humans are greedy enough, they would use AI to replace most of the workforce. They would be willing to. If it maximizes efficiency, if it maximizes profits, there's nothing stopping them from replacing real people and their real jobs. They would be willing to do it. And that's why these people are striking, because they don't want to be replaced. They want to stand their ground and say, hey, we don't want this to happen to us. And they should stand their ground. They should fight for this justice. As you guys know, one of my favorite Bible verses is, whoever loves money never has enough. Whoever loves wealth is never satisfied with their income. This too is meaningless, because it is. I think Netflix is a great opportunity for writers, for actors. I mean, it's open an opportunity for so many people who wouldn't have gotten recognized any way whatsoever in Hollywood, because it was so hard to enter. But with streaming services like Netflix, it opens so many new doors, and we don't want it to start closing them all over again. I hope, they offer them their demands and things go back to normal and we get great movies, and maybe Netflix stops canceling shows so fast. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching this week's video. Hit the like button, subscribe, and African mama, select the notification bell. Okay, and I'll see y'all on the next video when we're back on my channel. I'm Ahana, and I'm out. Yeah, I talked about another Netflix show. I might do more of these. Hey, y'all like the beef Netflix one? Maybe you'll like this one. I didn't do much of a breakdown though. So anyways, if you guys wanted me to break it down, let me know.